So, our team one over there. Hey, what's up? Mike, good. Everything going good? Looking good? All right. Hey, fantastic. Good to see you, Henry. Fantastic. Welcome. Awesome. Hi, Penny. Great to meet you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming here and being a judge. Fantastic to have you here. Good, you're enjoying it. Here's the seasoned old veteran professor here. Great to have you here, Professor Henry. And you're from where?
From Italy.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, great. Great to have you here. Fantastic. Yeah. So you know, Ahmad, he's the big hero. I'll tell you why. So listen, when we started this dojo, right? This is about, you know, it's about science, and it's sort of this equalizer, right? And you prevail in the competition because you did well in presenting and defending, right? And so this is not about, you know, titles or having a degree or whatever it is. So the thing that makes this legitimate is people at all levels are willing to participate. So it's reasonable for a young person to say, hey, I want to participate. But to have a senior person enter a tournament and say, I'm willing to be there and I'm willing to win or to lose, as an example, to legitimize and be an example for all other professors here. So he entered the first dojo and he did that. You know, and that made it successful. That made it successful because he was a model for everyone to say, yeah, I'm a professor, I'm a senior person, but I'm here to openly debate, compete with all of you. And I'm willing to lose. I'm willing to win and lose. So this is very different from many other persons here, right? Their professor, I'm not going to debate this young student in public. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not confident in their ability. So a lot of the science done here and the way it's structured is fake science. So we need real people like him making these things true. And you're a fantastic scientist. I'm sure you're excellent too. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you also for inviting us. This is my first experience joining Dojo. So I learned how to this tournaments work. It's like what the debates look like.
Oh, good. Good.
Yeah, so maybe after this session, we can discuss.
Yeah, definitely. You know, post in the chat. You're a part of the chat, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so definitely enter your comments and that and so forth. Yeah, that would be really helpful. Yeah, we want to keep improving this. Yeah, very important. So you all were here yesterday?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good.
Eat all the cognitive history. Maybe enjoyed the debate.
Yes.
It's getting better.
Yeah. But you can see, I mean, it's very interesting to see and we've actually done at Oxford also, at Oxford, different classes there. They were very excited about it. Oh, we want to do a whole pair. And so, in our Spheres program, we actually do this with district health officers. So they look at the dashboard of all their district health data, which is streamed in real time, and they look to see what the gaps are. They create a prescription for action to improve healthcare delivery. They do this on a monthly cycle. So every month, they have to create new prescriptions for action to improve healthcare delivery. So they always debate what the prescription for action should actually be. They do that in this kind of format. So every month, every person comes in at least 2 times to do their debate prescription for action. Yeah. So it's very interesting. So they like this because you know, it's bound in time. You have to prepare. It's a time-bound thing, right? And you sort of get this somewhat objective feedback. Depends on who the judges are. It's you get this other feedback. But how's the scoring? So we change the scoring because we're supposed to have concordance between any 2 judges. So any 2 judges have to award a point within a certain amount of time in order for a point to be given. But in the past, actually the total score was determined just by the sum of any scores. So in analyzing the scoring, I could see that there were some judges who would award a lot of points. So in fact, and others who would not. So actually, the winner was being determined by only 1 judge, right? Because whoever was awarding it, right? Yeah. So then we're like, hey, that should not be good. So then we redesigned the soccer story.
So you are being actually judged.
Right, you have to be sure that agree, so if he awards a point, someone else has to concur within the next amount of time, I think it's 5 seconds or something, 5 or 10 seconds, yeah. And then if there's concurrence, then the point is posted. But we have all the data on the back end to see how long it was before. So anyway, yeah, this is the.
Also yesterday, we had some of us actually
Oh, good.
that's the benefit and the very nice. But unfortunately, the time is good.
Yeah, very tight.
And they did not in the first dojo, we had 5-minute presentation and 10-minute challenge.
Something like that.
That's what I call it, it's free. So, I don't know where that decision, I mean, what's your opinion? Do you think that the 5-minute challenge is something?
But I think very refreshing to do stuff in the most important.
Yeah, that's true. Right, and they can see their poster, right? They're supposed to prepare their argument by seeing the poster of the person. Yeah.
Except that we don't have that. We have such a presentation beforehand.
Yeah, so this would like to have input, especially we need to have the last speakers.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because the final decision is the one is best and we are having
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. So so the principal, whoever's going to be the judges, they should have access to all the materials before the tournament, so they can prepare, go through what is really going on here. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then I noticed also the 1 minute, coaching in between rounds is, but that's been eliminated as well.
Yeah, we don't have
You don't have that, so it used to be that we would do
So it's the sensei that will come in.
right, so between rounds,
Yes.
between rounds, so there's basically, just like a boxing match.
Oh, this is to these.
There's corner and then
Yes.
But I don't know why, I was unaware that for some reason, for this one, they eliminated. I don't know why they did that. So I think that's kind of helpful as well, but it might be because they wanted to shrink the time.
Yeah, I think it's already for them.
Yeah. Where's your Oh, you guys have to sit here. Okay, let's get started. Who's the referee here?
Not yet, I guess. But MC. Jadi referee-nya. Referee. Kemarin siapa itu? Berarti ya. Bukan berarti ya.
Kali kan Mbak Dia.
Oh, Mbak Dia berarti.
Well, good morning everyone. I hope you are doing well. And because all the participants and judges are here, we're going to start the first match for today. I hope you have the same spirit like yesterday. So, team 39, right? Okay, team 39 right here, and team D5 over there. Okay. We're going to start this match with the 4 sessions. And as usual, the first session is presentations from the 39. You have 3 minutes for present your presentations.
Wait, how do you decide who goes first?
It's coin.
Yeah, did they do that already?
Coin is missing.
Maybe we can switch. The winner will go to defender.
Yeah.
Who's the
To
referee?
be honest, referee is not here. He's not coming today. He's there,
Okay,
but I will request
okay, great,
for
okay,
the
yeah,
referee.
please.
Okay. So you can switch. Yes.
Better system.
Okay. So your team
Oh, yang menang yang apa?
defender.
Okay.
The winner will be the defender. So you are D005 and D0039. Okay. We will give you you 3 minutes for presentation. Are you ready, Arjuna?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. 3 minutes start from. Yes. 3 minutes start from now.
Okay, thank you. I think you have seen our title. So next. Okay. Imagine if you have a very large garden, and then it's filled with medical or beneficial plants. There are some toxic plants too, and also well-known and not well-known plants in there. But at the same time, in the hospital, more and more patients are suffering from the MDR, like Coxiella pneumonia, that cause pneumonia. And as a scientist, you want to find a solution. You want to find a solution for this problem. And with the recent technology, we could accelerate the drug discovery by using AI. Next. But the question is, can we use AI to find or select the candidate? So we did not test a random plant in the lab, but we use drug discovery pipelines from the ADMET Lab 2.0 for the screening of the compound, and we also use the AlphaFold 2 for protein prediction, and we also use molecular docking to search the binding energy, and we also do the molecular dynamics in 100 nanoseconds. And for the laboratory validation, we use the MIC test with Resazurin, of course, and MBC test. Next. From our research, we find that molecular docking, 2D interaction, and also molecular dynamics, it's conclude the most stable candidates is liquid tigenin and also eupatorin. And when we do the MIC test, we find that 1000 ppm resulting in decrease in metabolic activity in bacteria. Next. And our finding, we have screening from 2038 ligands, and we narrowed the search to the 2 best candidate ligands, that is eupatorin and also liquidogenic. And this is the promising antibacterial candidates that we could find in our simulation. Next. So, to conclude our presentation, we just use what nature provide us, and we use AI to explore the new possibilities to fight the resistant
Time
bacteria.
up. Okay. We can set 6 minutes for the bed. Operator, are you ready? Okay. For the bed season, we can. Oh yeah. B0039. You can set for 30 seconds. So we can start the session for the bed. Start from now.
Thank you so much for the group D005. So your research gap, if I'm not mistaken, is to find the compound to combat the bacteria. And then so my question is, it's from Indonesian plant. I mean, you are screening Indonesian plants. So what method that you use to screen? I see that there's like 200 and something ligands. Okay, thank you so much.
Your turn.
Thank you for your question. So the answer is that we use a catalog from our friends in School of Pharmacy in ITB. So they have the catalog of compounds of molecular chemical compounds that can be purified by them. So we use that, so we can easily buy from them. So if there's a catalog of the chemical compounds, it's already available in School of Pharmacy in ITB.
And I mean, it's the Indonesian plan is
Yeah, it's Indonesian
it's
plan.
Indonesian
Yeah.
plan that you they already isolate that compound from the Indonesian
they
plan.
can purify.
They purify, isolate it, and then you try to run it.
Yes.
And how many? From your presentation, there's like 3 compounds
Yeah.
in the end.
Yeah.
And then what is? Can you like give the reason from the after running the how to say the experiment? What the reason that this 3 compound that come to the final test? Yeah.
So the first thing that we do is that we do a screening from using AI, AdMed Lab. So AdMed Lab is AI, machine learning that can give a score about absorption, distribution, metabolism, toxicity of the compounds within the chemical structure of the chemicals that are available. So from that, we reduce to about 18 compounds. So then 18 compounds continue to molecular docking with the target of SAT. Then we get the docking score. The top 3 docking score are selected. Then we use in vitro analysis.
Okay, but the conclusion from all those compound, you get 3 compound. What is maybe the similarities of these 3 compound that you can conclude that it's kind of this group of compound that have the active, or maybe you can
So
explain.
liquidpigenin and eupatorin are flavonoids.
Mhm.
So they are there's a paper that say that there's from licorice that is a flavonoid that can have the same bactericidal activity. So it's flavonoid that can have a bactericidal activity.
Is the 3 compound or the compound is flavonoid or
Flavonoids.
really?
Yeah.
Because I see that one of
Oh,
the
yeah.
compound is not from flavonoid, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Like the hydrogen bond and also the affinity and everything. What you take to conclude that why must have that 3 compound that you run in the end?
Okay, as we told before, we're using other molecular dynamics and also docking to screening or narrow our search. So we do the best method is like in computational analysis. So to screen or narrow our search, we just measure how this protein and ligand interaction each other. We also analyze their RMSD and also the MMPBSA, that energy that they could have. We want to use them to minimize the energy. So these 3 compound is the lowest energy using if we try to compare each other. So and also in the molecular interaction, like the H-bond, hydrophobic interaction, and van der Waals also, and the electrostatic interaction, we could summarize what we want to choose in there. So this is a very confident because there are many literature and there are many studies that you could find use the same method what we do.
Okay. So my question is, what is your novelty of the research?
So the novelty of the research is that we use a different type mode of action for the inhibition. So most of the drugs that currently available, they use carbapenem and derivative, that it's a beta-lactam antibody, beta-lactam antibiotics. And then there's also ciprofloxacin that inhibit polymerase. So this one is kind of new because it has a new mode of action for the inhibition.
Okay, so I see you have in vitro study which is MIC and MCB, and what kind of the sample itself you have the synthesized one or from?
Okay, thank you for the question.
We will give you 3 minutes. There's 0059 for presentation from the production. Are you ready for the PPT?
Okay, good morning. Today we're going to present our study about a new light of an old drug, transformation of polymyxin B for killing gram-negative bacteria. Next. So, as we know, recently there has been a major concern about the MDR. And it has been increased for the last 5 years to 40%. Polymyxin B is one of the antibiotics that can kill bacteria effectively, especially in gram-negative bacteria. However, polymyxin B has a side negative effect and also there is concern of its resistancy. One of the methods that can synthesize new antibiotics is by modifying the chemical structure of polymyxin B, and so therefore we can generate a new polymyxin B derivatives. So the objective of the study is to modify the chemical structure of polymyxin B by using chemical and enzymatic reaction, and further to evaluate their antibacterial activity. Next. This study was divided into 3 stages. The first one is synthesis of polymyxin B derivatives, and the second one is the characterization of the polymyxin B derivatives, and the last one is the antibacterial activity test.
Okay, thank you. Next to the result from the studies that we can say that we got like four compounds. The first one we call it the PMBN, is the polymyxin without the tail there, and it also all the studies has been confirmed by the elucidated structure through the HPLC and LCMS and HRNMS and also the NMR. So the second compound that we got PMX-PEG, we call it PMS-PEG with the PEG on the side, on the polymyxin tail side, and the third one we got PMX NBD. We tried to couple it with the dyes, which is NBD, and then it in previous study based on the literature is also used as the fluorescent probe to detecting the bacteria, and it also has confirmed by the LCMS and also HPLC. The last compound that we got, this is the novel one. We tried to couple the octanoic acid into the tail set, and then it also has been confirmed the structure. And the last one we also tried to do the initial study to the activity of the antibacterial, and we can say also that all the compound has potential to be the new antibacterial. So, but in the future we also
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you for the presentation. I think my main concern is in your research is framed as an antibacterial innovation. But if we see from your poster also, the evidence presented is look like preliminary chemical derivation. So I think the central claim is much stronger than the data that you presented in here. Because if we do a search in the PubChem or the others database, we could see what you do. It's already done in there. So you just like cut or modify the chemical, and there's no novelty in that, I think. So could you explain that?
Thank you so much. So the main focus of our research is it's about the synthesis, the derivatives of the polymyxin B, and for the first compound is actually already been synthesized by the others, but we say that the last one is the novel one. I mean the one with the octanoic acid, the PEG and the octanoic acid, and also the novelty is not just in the structure but the root synthesis. So what we use to synthesize it, so we are focusing on synthesizing the organic molecular. So we are focusing on the methodology that we use, like solvent that we use the organic the green chemistry approach. So we use a very mild condition of reaction, and also we use the solvent like very how to say safe to environment like water. So it's mostly about the technique that we use to synthesize the molecule. Okay, it's the same molecule, but we can say that we synthesize it with a more mild condition of reaction. So it's the novelty itself, and also the last component is the novelty one. So yeah, yeah.
So in case with your claims like that, maybe you need to change your title if you choose to, developing methods. So it should be not study to eliminate MDR bacteria in negative bacteria. So maybe that you use a sample of E. coli DH5 alpha in your study. So I think it's not have a same purpose with your study that want to eliminate MDR bacteria. So can you explain to me why you choose DH5 alpha?
Okay. Well, actually, we stated in the introduction, in the background of our research to in the myth, but again, new light to old drug, transformating or like how to say redesign the polymyxin. So it's our main focus, redesign the polymyxin itself. Yes, the E. coli, just to like how to say to confirm, is it just this polymyxin still have how to say potency to inhibit the bacteria, for example, for the gram-negative bacteria. So maybe
and if you see the result for the antibacterial activity, maybe we only use the E. coli, but the last compound that which is the novel one is already is also give a good antibacterial activity because it can inhibit the growth of E. coli. And if we compare it with the polymyxin B, which is the antibiotics one, it also has almost a similar inhibition activity, something like that. So we can say that it has the potential to have antibacterial activity.
Okay, if you are objective like that, so from the poster, we see if the derivatives are not clearly better than the polymyxin B in efficacy or safety. So what your justification for the following that? Because we see the wild type one is still the best. Yeah.
okay. Because it's also the problem for the polymyxin B. It has like toxicity, nephrotoxicity, and mistaken. So yes, perhaps in the future we also want to do the toxicity test to our new polymyxin with the octanoic acid tail on there. And then yes, we don't know. Because we know that the one that has activity to combat the bacteria is the octanoic acid, because after we change it with the other one is still in there. It's the control to to reaction or to kill the bacteria itself. So but we don't know, we don't have any information about if there will be toxicity or not. So we need it. So we wrote it in the future work. We need to test about toxicity and also maybe study of activity to the relationship of the compound.
I think you just take an advantage from that. Since the limitation is from polymyxin B is toxicity, so why does the study not provide the toxicity data as a central result rather than just you future work?
Again, the
Winner is there.
It's really happy to have you.
Yeah, 18, 19.
18, 19,
Very close.
Very close to the field.
All right, nice job, guys. Good job. Get some nice comments from your guys.
We have time for comments.
Oh yes, we got these questions as well.
wonderful discussion because I know that both of you have the similar field. So the debate is very, it's very deep. The conclusion also, I think is you can also have input from the other views that we have to highlight the novelty. That's the important thing in your presentation because if you not highlight the novelty, we cannot see that the new things in that field. That from Henry and Ahmad would like to add something.
We will hear from Henry because of our public health and Henry also very important. So from my side, just maybe some technical presentations. Because when you want to say that polymixing has some material, I would like you to present very quickly control. For example, polymixing without any derivatives, and then the polymixing derivatives. Are there any improvement of toxicity? Because I would imagine polymixing by itself should not have any bacterial activities. But then when you change it, then boom, it does it, and also don't forget dose dependency. Because you don't want to give them tons of this compound. Of course, we put gasoline, they would not anyway, right? But you really have to also compare with the standard antibiotics, oxalate, for example. It is better, it's similar those things we have to do it probably for the IDBD, congratulations. I know the now very well. So I think you would have to make sure that your compounds really should be validated in culture, also in clinical trial. And you have to make sure you do the control as well. Don't be the standard antibiotics that you have to use. You have to show that using this current existing antibiotics, it doesn't kill the bug. But then with your compound, it kills the bug. But again, you have to make sure your concentration is really head-to-head. You don't want to get, just like I told them, don't give tons of compounds, of course you're going to die anyway, but it will be not specific.
Thank you. Five. Easier 0.5. No, I think my comment would be something related to responsible use of AI, integrity, and ethics around the use of AI because it's a hot global topic at the moment, especially if what you are aiming is to have discovery, right? I think that's what I see. So you need to be more careful in terms of clearly describing like each step. Especially, I think the foundational step one that is I see currently missing from your repeated talk. I think how you make sure your AI is really great. You have to prove that, right? You have to prove that. Do you have a adequate training data set, for example, if it is trained, for example, so you have to prove that. You cannot just say, trust me, this is great AI. Whatever the AI tell me, that's the absolute truth. We cannot do that because I think when you publish the paper, that will be one critical things that the editor and reviewer will be asking. For this side, I think I kind of agree with one of the comments from you. That be careful in title is the first thing, and be careful not to overclaim or overpromise things. Right? If it is like initial work, you can put it in the title. Right? If it is exploratory work, you can clearly mention that. I think don't over promise things because I think from editorial perspective, if I see something like that, then probably it's going to be an easy classification, or they are saying something beyond what they are doing. So you need to be careful. I think that's just a few comments. But overall, great.
concept of this.
Any of the people using
The same,
also
the AI is not something that you are building in this.
No,
It
yeah,
is something
that's why I said that because
So
they
the
only use
impression is,
the tools that you use, that maybe better you use like what we're talking about approach or something approach to decide to like a genome mining to provide prospecting, that's very prospecting.
Yeah.
Actually, it's your prospecting using the tools. So rather than using the AI
It's
being
not for the
example,
AI
so it's
itself.
very big and we not develop the AI methods anyway. Okay, now let
Kamu ini saya pikir tuh dia itu juga sesuatu yang dia develop itu.
jadi
Yeah, team strategy is in front, but they're talking with programmers as well. 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Nah, itu yang
Harusnya itu yang lebih muncul ya. Kalau saya lihat kan dari background
ya
perspektif
biasanya
itu.
how to confirm the genome mining, the genome mining methodology, confirm the genome mining using in vitro dan
Ini kan yang dijual kan kayak
iya,
AI-nya, jadi dari background kemarin.
ya tadi kan harus ya, tapi kan mungkin si pakai saya kan tidak sampai tidak berani, makanya yang penting itu kan sisi
Okay. For the next match we have B0070 and B0041. I will remind you about the rule. We have 3 minutes for presentation and 6 minutes for the bet. But first we have to switch. First, okay. The winner will be the defender. You can switch. Yes. Professor, sir.
Oh, oke.
Oh, duluan aja. So, di 007 will be defender ya. Oke. We have 3 minutes for presentation. We can start from now.
Okay, this is the subtype-specific SAA-based signature asteroid caps in epithelial ovarian cancer is the presentations. Next. So, ovarian cancer, the epithelial ovarian cancer, mostly the silent cure among postmenopausal women. So, is it correlated with the age? Like we know it. So, there's a subtype of ovarian cancer like HGSC, CCC, MC, and AC. Next. Let's talk about the senescent cells. The senescent cells produce a SASP, which means it contains chemokines, inflammation, and others, which can attract and modify the microenvironment. And next. Okay, this is the flow. And next. These are our methods. We input the data from the database, proteomics, transcriptomics, and we include only the stage 3 of AOC. And next. This is our methods flows, pre-processing data process analysis, and we visualize with Pokelopo, MCAPL, HeadMap, and PCA. So we would like to prove how aging is significant in AOC subtype.
This is the visualization of the volcano sparse PCA. So this shows that in the larger circle, which is the older group, and the smaller one is the young one, they are overlapping, but you can see that the broader, which is the older one, it's more in variation. And this is also tested significantly, whether they're overlapping. and then has distinct shape from the eigenvalue, it is meaningful. Next. And this is also the MCA that shows that the overlap between the two groups with a different broad range. Next. And then this is the volcano map. We discovered that the protein that is related to the SAS that is upregulated or downregulated, and it is significant. It's not the same as what we use from the data set. We found that the other protein that also related to the SAS. This is the heat map. We can see that there's patterns from for example, the young one versus the old one. We can see that there's a reddish area, which means that it is more upregulated in the old one, which means that there's a correlation with the age group compared to the young one. And then also for the conclusion from what we got is that we discovered a protein that is actually upregulated significantly in certain histotypes that also different from each other, and this will create, and this will be the discovery, to be the potential of the therapeutic gaps for the POC between the different age group.
Thanks. Okay, session for the session, we have 6 minutes. D0041, you can start from now.
Okay, thank you for the very informative presentation. So I would like to ask, related to the age that you mentioned previously, you say the old and the young. It is the cell age or maybe the age of the patient. So because you never mentioned it before.
Okay, so it is actually in an older group versus the younger group, and the younger group comprised of these less than 45 to 49, and then for the older one it is 60 to 70 and more than 75 years old. So we can tell that there's a range between those groups, and we can tell that there's we expect that there's a significant in different proteins expression.
Okay, so further question. So related to the age, you mentioned that the ovarian cancer usually happen in the postmenopause. So yeah, and you mentioned that some of the patient age is lower than 50. Is there any information as well whether they have already menopause or no?
Yes, so the study actually to prove, the postmenopausal is the proof that it is correlated with the aging. But in this study, we correlate the different age group, which we want to see whether this younger one versus the older one. So yeah, it's about the different age group that is being correlated.
Okay, I'm gonna ask, what's the name of the database you collected, like the NCBI of PDB or something, and then you also collected the metadata of the geographic zone or no? Because I think from the cervical cancer, if I give example of cervical cancer, they have very different from the geographic zone.
Okay, so the database that we use is from Massive, and then it's from Gothenburg, Sweden, where they have this collected data of different stage of ELC, but we just use the stage 3.
Yeah. So this database is focused on the proteomic because our study is proteomic and transcriptomic. So yeah, not the.
Yeah, because I think if you conclude that it's gonna be potential therapeutic agent, maybe it's gonna be to show the relevant from the global, like maybe some variation from the geographic, like America, Europe, the Asia, maybe have some different from the transcriptomic itself.
Okay, so we specifically use this database because we search for the other database as well, but this one is like the most representative one because it contains more samples than the other, and also it's done in human, not in other organisms.
What is mean representative?
Representative, it means that it actually we use the data sets, and it's already like it's reliable because it's also used in other studies as well, these data sets, and Yeah, so yeah, we obtained it because it's representative, because it is the data that the publicly available data, because there's no other data that has this.
Okay, maybe further question. So related to data that you take, what is the specific steps that maybe you did to control the quality of the data?
Yes. First, we choose the data set. The base one is the massive, which is it's globally known, and yeah, it's reliable. It is the place where those who make these collected samples, whether they're proteomics, especially in proteomics, they're collected in the massive, and then yeah, it is one of the already the best way that we can already.
Okay, after that, after we input the data, we filter from the data, so we make it like only the ASP protein expressed from the EOC patient, and after that, we know that we normalize the data, so we can use the data for our research by Lima.
So from the data analysis, is there any data that you maybe exclude because the
Yes, we just choose the stage 3 because there's like other stage as well, but we choose the stage 3 because, and also it's because so that the data it will be more homogeneous than if we include all the stage.
And also no SASP protein we excluded. We only include the SASP protein.
Okay. You mentioned that your other study have you choose like a reference. Have the other study mentioned that like a sample data set like just 40, or maybe the other study use like a sample like maybe the largest above the 40, like 100 or like 1000?
So is there a study that like having larger samples?
Is there any study that correlated with the age? Maybe you asked about that.
Time's up. So we have 3 minutes for B0041 invitation. Okay, we can start from now.
Okay, so thank you. You're from group 41. So you can imagine what is the silent pandemic. So silent panic, next, please. Silent pandemic is something that never maybe make headlines, but it spreads continuously across the country and then species and also the ecology. So this is antimicrobial resistance through silent pandemic. And one of the most important pathogen is the E. coli. E. coli, as we know, this is part of our human gut bacteria, but also the cause of serious infection with high mortality and morbidity. And related to that, we know that there are beta-lactamase enzyme production due to the E. coli, and it could inactivate the beta-lactamase antibiotics, the most commonly used antimicrobials. So recognizing this, WHO designed the ESBL producing E. coli as the global EMR indicator across the human, animal, and environment. Based on the One Health perspective. So this raised a critical question. What is the global landscape of beta-lactamase genes diversity in E. coli across the One Health interface? Next. So to answer the question, we conduct the study to describe the diversity and global distribution of beta-lactamase genes in E. coli across temporal and One Health dimension using the NCBI pathogen database. Next. So we retrieved the data from the NCBI on November 25th with the query E. coli isolates. We used the specific inclusion and exclusion criteria, and then after we filter the data, we categorize based on the One Health framework. Next. So we have more than 200,000 data, and from that we can distribute into the human, animal, and environment group, and we found above 370 unique blood genes. And then from the temporal data sets, we can see that BLATM1 consistently represent the largest share of acquired blood genes events. And then, but however, we can also find 2 more genes that's very important. One is the blood CTXM15. It progressively have larger proportion after the mid 2000, and then the blood and the M5 it shows higher and higher after 2010, and this is related and consistent with the emergence in the clinical literature because there are carbapenem usage. Next. From the data, we see that almost the samples or the data is from the human, but we can see there are shared genes among human, environment, and animal. Next. So the conclusion is the polarized distribution of blood genes across sectors serve a definitive marker of sector-specific antibiotic selection pressure. Thank you.
For the next session, it's the bed session. We have 6 minutes. D007, you can attack. You can start from now.
Okay, I would like to ask the representative data from the NCBI pathogen detection database. So, if you say that this is representative, but how the presentation that it will be biased because every country has the different sequencing, like Asia or Africa or everything like that is a different sequencing. So how could you say that this will be representative?
Okay, thank you. Well, we just explicit that the limitation of our study is a submission bias, but from the NCBI itself, we choose NCBI because the NCBI have the software like AML Finder Plus itself. The software is like to determine how many and what the characterized gene resistant in submitted sequence data, because it's not about the Illumina, it's not about ONT, it's not about the different sequencing, but if you upload the raw sequencing or the partial sequencing, the NCBI and the AML Finder Plus can analyze the data and then give the gene resistance from the metadata itself.
So is there any alternative study or alternative database from it?
No, because the they have DDBG and ABN, but DDBG and ABN they didn't have the like MML Finder Plus, because if we want to know the gene resistance, we will use like manually work in the software like ML Finder Plus as Finder, and it take much time.
Has this study actually be studied in other literature, and is it already conducted, or how is the significance?
Yeah, this study conducted by the first author is back from the 2025. The title is like beta-lactam from the Acinetobacter and the Pseudomonas. They collected from the NCBI pathogen database detection, and then they collected show the gene resistance from the ABA and the Pseudomonas, and then they just analyze MLS. You know, the bacteria have sequence type to identify the strain. And then they calculate some ST, maybe like ST2 from the Acinetobacter baumannii have high clone, and then maybe support the literature from the people.
So what can you do in action through this study that you have?
Okay, so for the disclaimer, this is not a surveillance data. This is a snapshot. So what we do, the first one is the descriptive analysis, but it's very important because from the data we can see that there is a need for the surveillance not only in human but also in animal and environment sectors. So actually in WHO has already introduced the 3-cycle pilot project, but it's not used in lots of countries. Like in Indonesia right now, we usually do the glass surveillance only from human, but we don't do it for the other sectors.
So you said that, okay, the next question, you said that BLCTXM50 is correlated with something. So what is the difference between causality and the correlation? Causalitas? So what is the difference between it?
and correlation. Is it causalitas or correlation?
So we cannot say it is a causality or correlation, but we find that the mutation happen when we use lots of beta-lactam antibiotics, especially for the BLAST-ETXM15 is related to the third generation of cephalosporin. So we can see that the third generation cephalosporin being used widely after 2000. So we can see as well that the BLAST-ETXM become frequent.
Okay, so next question. How will you alternatively interpret your data since you are also using the One Health and it's from the animal, human, and environment, and how it won't reduce your complexity of the resistance that happened, that actual mechanism, like you said that it's about the horizontal transmission, like how do you actually translate it into the One Health?
Oh yeah, okay.
So
One Health, how you translate the how you not reduce the complexity of the the resistance from that into the One Health, like how do you actually?
yeah, so actually for these genes, there are two positions for the genes itself. It's from the plasmid and also in the chromosome. But by the during the by this study, we cannot differentiate whether the genes is at the plasmid one or the chromosomal one. But later we are analyzing using the MLST.
Actually, I really like this study, the diversity of the meta-analysis. But maybe the challenge would be how to frame it as a very practical one. Because you mentioned the importance of the One Health. That is really shown yet. It seems that it could be, because we don't really study it, we really combine with yet, right?
Not satu sahab.
One Health.
One Health approach.
One Health approach. Oh, okay. Right, so I probably missed that because I was thinking about this. Yeah. You know, public health is a big issue. But it could be very interesting, I guess, as follow-up studies to collaborate with laboratories to actually confirm the diversity of these different meta-analysis variants. Because you guys already see that the certain variants were very small in 2010. But getting more dominant 10 years later. But then the proportion of these different variants probably in different cities. So it could be important one as a hypothesis generating. But again, it is very important. But it's just that the question would be which one will correlate different systems. Regarding the ovarian cancer, I think we need to talk about that. Because I think that the biggest gap is probably the study design. You guys do lots of very complex statistical analysis, but I just would say that you guys probably, when it comes to target therapy, this is actually, it's a jump, because basically you guys doing very good detailed descriptive analysis, but then how to say that, well, I found this one is good for therapy, that's something else. But we can discuss it later, because maybe you guys can better understanding how to design studies so it's working.
We're still actually in the theory analysis.
So still ongoing research. That is good. That's good. But maybe it's to solve the problem of this is something.
Just about the One Health things, I think it's an emerging topic, and you are correct. Actually, human sides is get more attention Indonesia, and we've been trying to do, to get colleagues from fat science, from the agricultural science to work together. We do have a lot of network of One Health, but in reality, it's still fragmented. Yeah, so I think in doing this, it's going to be something impactful, especially if we can bring together evidence from three different topics in the human health. So, what they call it, animal health. That will be my point. I think for you, I'll repeat the same comment yesterday. A lot of stats, a lot of visualization, but no, you didn't give meaning. Like you said, this is in maps, this is a PCA, but then what does it mean? I think that will be my critic, and also suggestion in the future. Put the key message on your the title of your slide instead of putting results in maps, result PCA. Your slide should be powerful, right? So it should tell directly what you want to say. Thank you.
Very nice advice. Thank you. Okay, congratulations. So they have very good comments. So you're actually competing against one of our other teams.
Oh.
For your next round. So we have 3 of our 4 get through. So this next time, we have to again each other. Okay.
Which one? The first one or the
I got this.
first one?
Get ready. So your match is coming up. Congratulations, you won this one. Get ready for the next one.
Iya, ini bagus. Lihat nyari patternnya dulu ya. Habis ketemu
So 39, you can sit here, and 41, and 41.
looks like it, right?
Yes, 51. Oh, this will be the last minute. Okay, I will remind you again about the rules. We have 3 minutes for presentation and 6 minutes for presentation. And for that, we have to switch. First.
No,
We can go first. Okay, you will be first. Okay, berarti 39, ready? You can start from now.
Okay, good morning everyone. Today we're going to present our study about a new light of an old drug, transformation of polymyxin B for killing gram-negative bacteria. First, as we know, recently there are many cases about the MDR, and it has been a major concern of WHO. Polymyxin is one of the antibiotics that can kill bacteria effectively, especially gram-negative. However, it also has a side effects. By modifying the chemical structure of polymyxin B, the objective of the study is we want to synthesize the new compound of polymyxin B and evaluate its antibacterial activity. Next, these are 3 stages of the study, starting from the synthesis of polymyxin B analogs, characterization, and antibacterial activity test.
Thank you so much. So from the synthesis process and also for the characterization, which is elucidated next, please. Elucidated with the HPLC to test the purification, and then also the purification, and also with the high resolution mass, LCMS and HNMR to confirm the structure of our synthesized product. So the first one we got is PMBN. We call it PMBN, it's polymyxin core. And then the second one is we try to couple it with the PAG, polyethylene glycol, and it also has been elucidated and confirmed the structure. And then the third one is polymyxin with the NBD. We try to couple it with the NBD, it's dyes. to see the difference between the previous one because it has the aromatic one in the side, and then the last one we got this is the noble compound. This is the polymyxin octanoic acid. We try to couple it with the it's called aliphatic groups. So there's like aromatic and aliphatic. So this one is the aliphatic group, and then it has like very long tail. This is octanoic acid to the PAG, and it also has been confirmed with the animal HPLC and also with the LCMS. And PMX octanoic group can we go to this? Is have a long non-polar chain, which is possibly responsible for the antiviral activity. Next one, this is the lastly the test to the antibacterial activity. We use E. coli strain to test the activity of our synthesized compound, and then we got like for our novel compound, we it also inhibit not just our novel compound but all compound that we synthesize inhibit the E. coli. The last one, we need to do the comprehensive antibacterial test.
For the 6 minutes, everyone you can start from now.
Okay, thank you. So you mentioned that there are few possible scenario that you could use to modify the PMXB, right? So how did you find that possible solution? Because I see that you didn't use any bioinformatic tools, so such as molecular jogging in your PPT, or are you already done that?
Okay, well, we didn't mention it there, but we did the literature review. So based on the previous synthesis that has been done to to the polymyxin itself, it can be done in the long tail functional group, and also in some position in the NH group from the residue from the ammonia, because it's a polypeptide, nanopolypeptide antibacterial. And yes, it's based on the literature review. So this side, and also this other side. But the most possible to do the reaction is on the long tail.
So yeah, that's in terms of to choose which side you want to modify, right? But did you use any molecular jogging to confirm that those compounds really fit the ligand that you maybe want to target?
Yeah, again, it's from the literature review. It's already done by other researchers. They already done the disposition right, left, and the best one is in the long tail. And also based on the activity of the polymyxin, the best one is to modify the polymyxin is in the long tail, because the other one doesn't have activity as antibacterial. So that's why we go to this one. Okay, we will cut the long tail and we will modify the long tail.
So it's already done in the literature, I mean, like the previous studies. How you claim the novelty of your study?
Okay, the novelty is in our study again, because we are focusing on transforming the structure of the polymyxin. The first one is the method itself. We try to green chemistry approach to this reaction. We try to do the very mild reaction compared to another reaction. Our reaction has good yields on it, so it's more reliable to do rather than we use like very expensive catalyst, very expensive condition reaction. So this is the focus on our study. And
yeah, okay. So then it's not.
And the structure.
Yeah, it's not mentioned in your presentation, and so it's not mentioned in your poster. So we don't know the novelty.
Yeah, we already. We use we put the like H2O enzymatic H2O and the melt reaction like 60 degree. So it's quite mild, and also.
Actually, we also said that before that the last compound is a novel compound with the antibacterial testing. Also, this is the first time there is an antibacterial activity from the last compound.
So we read in your poster that the need to modify the polymyxin is because of the toxicity to kidney. How you assess? No, how I mean like this one. How you know that the one that you modify here is not toxic to kidney?
Yes. It's the how to say it's the background. It's the background to do the modification on the. It's one of the reason why we have to modify the polymyxin. One is because the toxicity in kidney, and also to improve the antiviral activity. And yes, in this reaction we try to transform, because one that has the toxicity is we believe in the long tail, because based on the previous study in other researchers, it's on that. So we try to find it, and first initial that we got is it has activity of antibacterial. So for the future study, we need to test the toxicity. So it's initial study. Yes, in the future we have to do the toxicity test.
So it has a rationale why you modify it there, because you suspect that place make the toxicity to the kidney.
Yes, and how about if we change it into another group, it will still toxic or not? Well, we know from the initial study it has activity on antibacterial, but now it is still toxic or not. So we need the future study for it.
Okay. So in here, do you use the positive control for your antibacterial activity?
Positive control, yes, the polymyxin itself, because
Okay.
polymyxin
The
itself
PMX
Yes,
in your graph is PMXB, the original
polymyxin,
compound,
yes,
right?
the original compound.
The one that toxic to the kidney.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Okay. So I think when I see the graph, the activity is higher. I mean, like it's better than your modified.
Yes.
How you explain that?
Slightly better. I mean, it's quite like it's not that too much, just slightly. And then again, because the toxicity, we are so concerned on the toxicity. How about this one? Maybe have slightly more non-active. I mean, the polymyxin may be slightly more active, but our compound is like just non-toxic. I mean, like it still inhibit but non-toxic. So we need the future study, but it's just like slightly if you can say. Yes, true. Because we are focused on the synthesize.
Another suggestion is actually you can use statistic to say that the activity is not that different, not differ significantly. You didn't show.
We saw in the poster like if you
Next section for the presentation for slide B1. So
break one.
you can start your presentation for 3 minutes. Start from now.
Okay, thank you for the time. This is our research with its metagenomic profiling and bioprospecting of microbial proteins and lipases from fish processing wastewater. Next slide. So, fish processing wastewater is kind of like it's kind of like a gold mine for enzyme with high activity, right? So imagine it like a cave of wonders filled with golds and magical stuff. But in this case, they are enriched with protein and lipid that help microbial life to thrive. These bacteria have the ability to produce enzymes such as protease and lipase that could be used in both industrial and the biomedical application. Okay, next. Here we use two approach, which is a culture-based approach and non-culture-based approach to kind of like bioprospect the fish processing wastewater from Lamongan. And from the culture-based, we found that 6 isolated bacteria with proteolytic and lipolytic activity. Some of them shows activity above 2, which is already considered high. And our hero itself is the Proteus GB that shows a very high proteolytic and lipolytic activity. We then continue our analysis using whole genome sequencing for the Proteus GB to kind of see, to unleash the genetic makeup and see which gene that most probably play a part in their extracellular enzyme secretion. And in this case is ceralisin metalloprotease and phospholipase A gene. Okay, next. Okay, so from the non-culture based method itself, we do some metabarcoding of 16S gene. And then we found that this bacterial community and also that those isolated strains came from the same class, which is Gamma Proteobacteria class, with Proteus GB itself accounted of 0.09% of all metabarcoding data that we got. Okay, next. But yeah, just like any other superhero stories, we want our hero to save the day. We want Proteus GB to save the day, but we can't forget its dark nature, and in this case is opportunistic pathogenic nature. So future works will involve designing a recombinant factor for expression in grass species, so we could safely and sustainably produce a mass producing enzyme for industrial and biomedical purposes. I think that's all from us.
Okay, maybe can next
Okay, thank you. This is a very interesting and comprehensive study, I think. But my question is the first one: why you choose the fish processing tank as your place for the sample?
Okay, so the reason why we choose the fish processing wastewater because we want to capture bacteria that have the ability to produce protease and lipase. And in this case, protease and lipase use substrates such as protein and lipid. And what the environments that contain those substrates, and in this case, one of the environment is the fish processing wastewater. We can choose any other environment such as from meat processing industry or any other industry that use protein and lipid, but this fish processing wastewater is there's not that much literature that want to deep dive, doing a deeper dive about their genes and their ability to produce.
Then so you said that before this can be do everywhere. I mean, so what's the novelty of your? I mean, basically this is maybe this study has also been done everywhere, I think. So what's the novelty? What's the difference between your study with other previous studies?
It's a little bit shallow, as Professor Anu say, but our novelty is this kind of study. We in Indonesia we haven't explored the fish processing industry wastewater that much or any. I think our study is the first study who do the culture-based and non-culture-based exploration in wastewater from fish processing industry in Indonesia, even in ASEAN, I think. But in Asia or in the world, sure, it has been done.
So you said that you use non-culture and culture ones. Can you please explain more?
Okay, so you say you saw in our data the culture base is where we actually isolate the bacteria from the wastewater. We got 6 isolate with high proteolytic and lipolytic activity. That's culture base. We got the bacterial isolate and we can use that for producing enzyme. The non-culture base is the next slide, the one the meta-barcoding approach. When we take the sample, isolate the DNA, and sequence actually all the 16S rRNA gene, so we know what bacteria, all bacteria in the sample.
Okay. Just to confirm it, just because in the presentation you only do the metagenomic in only proteins, which one the best one? You said in the presentation, but again, then you said that you use the 2 different approach for.
Okay, so we actually take the samples and analyze them with the metagenomic method, right? But we present the protease GB in this particular presentation because we want to highlight the presence of the protease GB in itself. So we got the data from the whole community, but here we want to highlight that the protease GB itself it's there. So we kind of want to show that the protease GB is present in both culture and in non-culture method also.
See in the slide, the right one and the right one and the left one. The left one actually is the whole community bacteria. We saw all the bacteria in the sample, and the right one is the position of protease CB. How many protease CB compared to the whole bacteria? So that consider the metagenomic metabarcoding analysis.
Okay, maybe that's my mistake because the impression that I get is like you only use metagenomic. And then what's the can you explain more about the characteristic of the bacteria in the fish processing tank that you found?
Okay. So the characteristic is the one we got from the culture-based method. We got 6 bacteria. Actually, the characteristic then that we got from the gram staining, all is the gram negative, rod gram negative, and specific characteristic that we actually want to see is the proteolytic and lipolytic activity. You see the plate result with the clear zone, meaning that they can digest the lipid and the protein. They have the protease and the lipase. Yeah.
Maybe in terms of specificity, we haven't done this, but maybe for future work we could also include, because they came from fish processing wastewater, they came from fish and probably also from the sea or any other water source. They maybe have some specificity in terms of halotolerant and etc. So that could be our part of our future studies. But for now, we're focusing on the ability to produce protease and lipase.
So it's also included in your breakdown that from the wastewater. We can isolate broadly the
protease or I mean the lipase and protease from the other source that with the high yield, but you choose to from the wastewater to get like it will be have how to say critical condition. So based on your previous study, it's also done. I mean, it's also can use as the in the higher in the how to say in the complex condition.
Your turn.
Okay, so actually we choose the one in the fish processing industry. One is because of the novelty. We did the one in the meat processing industry in the slaughterhouse, and we got the similar no, actually lesser result. Because why we choose the fish processing industry? Because the amount of the lipid, actually the amount of protein is higher in fish. And for that particular processing industry, they use the high lipid, high fat fish. So, yeah, okay.
I mean the characterization
Thanks,
of the protease and butter itself. I mean,
Like you are doing
Time for gender feedback. It's an interesting discussion, and yeah, because your curiosity why you choose the bacteria from the wastewater, and yeah, this perspective maybe the perspective we can see from your slide, but from abstracting or abstract from your poster, but like Pak Henry said yesterday, so maybe we have to discussion the activity and make sure there's a in the difficulty and the importance of the player perspective, especially the one that you say that is the first in the each Asia, we cannot say. And for your presentation, I think you also need to focus on what kind of methods to get the compound, because we also see there's only like brain perspective as well, but the previous study actually has a bigger, but actually you use the different kind of the methods to isolate and also to purify the compound, and we can also see clearly in your presentation. So maybe both of the studies is very good that have to very clear in the process, especially in the macro scale. I think it's all.
From my side, maybe a couple of things for this team. Number one is about the utility of light-based approaches. What is the use of it? Light-based, I was thinking maybe for washing dishes. So let's actually mention it in the beginning.
Yeah.
This is very good because, and also the next one is when it comes to novelty, I would refrain from saying something like, it has not been done in Indonesia. Yeah, please do not say that, because it's going to limit your publication chance. Because editor will see course only specific Indonesia. What's the point? But, for example, if you say that, look, I find a source and can produce lots of analysis in a very low cost, so then it will be very interesting, because now the industry will be very happy to use your method to produce a large amount of this product, right? Because they will think this one is no values, but now you find a very high values. So things like this you need to sell yourself, but also again, try to imagine, you're not only talking to scientists, we're also talking with lay people. It's something many scientists actually miss. So that's why the public sometimes doesn't feel like scientists. They talk dati. Okay, for this game, just when it comes to positive control, make sure the context is what you want to achieve. Because I was kind of worried when he asked about positive control, the context is about toxicity in kidney, right? Okay. So the assay we use, if you want to use this as a positive control, you don't use a coli system. You use, for example, mice studies. And then you give the polymyxin, for example, and then look at that kidney. So outside any kidney model. And then you change with the derivative of the polymyxin and whether the injury to the kidney is less. So make sure that you always put in context. If you just use this equal, our study is for antibacterial. But if you want to address the kidney studies, don't, because bacteria don't have kidney. Last time I checked. Yeah. Okay. So just be careful when you. But yes, a good question. But I feel that you have to understand what possible.
I think I'm not an expert on this. Just generally commenting. I agree first about what we call as area trap. Area trap. So when you say it's about Indonesia, so it's about Indonesia. Then why it is suitable in Indonesia and why doing it in Indonesia will add to the body of knowledge globally, right? How does that contribute? I think that's more important. And about the flow of the talk, I think we've got 1 minute left. You kind of presented too quick. You miss quite a lot of stuff. So like important things like you didn't mention about the novelty of your word. You didn't mention in detail about methods. Maybe you did that as your strategy, so then they will ask about it. I don't know. But I think in the future, if you do a presentation, right, to audience, you have to remember that there will be someone like me who don't know about this, and then I'm really keen to learn. So I cannot follow your presentation because you didn't mention like the IBRA structure, for example. So I don't know what's going on. I think that would be my takeaways for you. I think be careful again. I think maybe I'm not sure if you are familiar with is it like logic framework? When you have on top of the diagram, you have impact. So what sort of impact that you want to achieve from this, for example? Do you want to change how people do the whatever you do? So it's methodological. So when you are clear with what impact that you want to do, then I think it makes easier for you then to build a really coherent story, like from the beginning, because okay, I want to do this. Why I want to do that? Why I want to change the way they do this? Because the fact is there is a problem of toxicity and so on, right? Is it yes. So that's why you want to do it. So this is how you do it, and this is the proof that this one can actually achieve the further goals, the impact, the outcome that you want to achieve, even though you're not there yet, right? Because you are saying that you're just exploring it and you haven't tested the toxicity because valid falling from this. If you are mentioning that your reasoning is because the current approach or the product that you use has a problem with toxicity, and you wanted to replace that, but then you didn't show that my product is actually free from that problem, right? So be careful. Maybe reframe it instead of toxicity. I don't know.
Because the research is ongoing.
Yeah.
Haven't improved it in but maybe the title has to be I think it's to general. But you said before that actually the focus is on how to develop technically so that you define maybe there's more novel compared to this isolated blah blah blah.
And sorry, just one more. And even like the findings showing that there is no statistical significance, meaning that the product that you are generating is at the same level with the standard one, right? Even though the standard one is believed to be have a problem with toxicity, right? So that's finding in itself. Because you can create something that's at the same level, right?